They done did Dollar dirty last night. And when it was all said and done, they had everybody saying, L.A. Knight. Yeah? Oh, you got your yas in before BC, didn't you? I know you did. We're going to talk all about L.A. Knight rocking SmackDown last night with the very little that he was actually given. We're also going to talk about the Slim Jim Battle Royal. BC, what? Oh yeah, the Slim Jim Battle Royal. Wait till you hear about that one. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa completely annihilate Jey Uso 8 days before SummerSlam. An unfortunate ending as Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar's match goes off the rails. We got the latest. And Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. Can Charlie and Bianca coexist? After all they've been through 1 week before SummerSlam, this is what we're doing? Can they coexist? We're going to talk all of this, and Greyson Waller loses yet again. What would you say if BC told you, stat-wise, true story, Greyson Waller, even in NXT, Greyson Waller has only won one match in 2023. We're going to talk all about it. It's SmackDown for Friday, July 28th, 2023. This, of course, the Amped Up podcast for Saturday, July 29th. I, of course, will be your host, BC Amplified. And now there's only, two things left to do. Smash that up so I know you're amplified. And number 2, let's rock this shit amplified style. My amplified unit had to get that swig of coffee. Make sure we're fully amplified. It is indeed time to wake up, get up, and get amplified. 'Cause that's what we do. Roman Reigns faces off with Jey Uso to start this show. Now, this was really good. It was believable. It was intriguing. Jason Uso once again nailed this promo. Jey Uso could have actually been main event Jey had he had a solo run and actually wanted it. Now, for those that are saying, well, BC, now's the time. You put the title on him, he becomes main event Jey. You have to remember, Jey Uso literally never wanted to be in that role of main guy. He said that in the promo last night, and the words have never been more true than they are right now. Jey Uso looked at Roman after Roman said, you always wanted to be the tribal chief. You always wanted what I had. Jey Uso said, nah, Us, I never wanted any of this. Like, literally. I acknowledged you as the tribal chief. You were the best man to run the family and this company. I never wanted any of it. And if you ever heard Jey Uso in interviews, he doesn't cut many, but he'll tell you he never even thought of a singles run, let alone being the guy. In fact, he's reserved IRL. The promos you see Jey Uso cut that are so damn good, he's reserved. In reality, Jey Uso is not that amplified. And you have to be that if you're going to be the top guy in a company like WWE. You have to have that personality on 10 at any given moment. Jey Uso will tell you he's got to tap into that. That's exhausting if you are the guy and you're going to all of those countries and every minute of every day you got to be on. You got to be the guy. You have to envision that from day one. Jey Uso did an interview recently with Jimmy. I think it may have been Ariel Helwani. And it was really good. And they said they both never envisioned anything but being in a tag team. They born, obviously, twins, and they just said that's what we were going to be. And we were cool with it, and we just wanted to be the best tag team imaginable when people look back on it. And I think they're well on their way of doing that, if they haven't already. But Jey Uso, had he had a singles run from the jump, and he wanted to be, the key to all of this is he actually wanted to be the guy and wanted all of it that comes with it, not just what you get to do on TV and play superstar, but everything that is not on TV, which is the rest of the 22 to 23 hours of the day, every week, every month, every year. Had he wanted that, and he was by himself, I honestly gotta believe that Jey Uso could have been main event Jey, literally. Like one of the top guys leading the company. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but everything I've seen points to that conclusion. Again, he would have to have wanted it, and everything that he's told us, he never even envisioned that, let alone wanting that. So hearing him say those words to Roman Reigns last night, I never wanted any of that, Uso. And it was so sincere because that's Jey Uso. He doesn't want to be the top guy. But now, as he said, he's gotta lead the family. He's got to take that tribal lay. And if he takes the title in the process, even better. But you got to believe Jey Uso. It's so sincere when he says it's not even about the title up front. It's about that tribal lay. I'm doing this for the family. It's just really good, man. And we talk about how good the Bloodline storyline is. Well, a big part of that, you give a lot of it to Sami Zayn. You give a lot of, all the props always goes to Roman, right? Roman's the big ratings draw, this, that, and the other thing. And he is. Cody Rhodes, because he can tell a great story on the mic. Everybody gets all this credit. Jey Uso was the masterpiece from the beginning. If you think of the Sami Zayn storyline into the Cody Rhodes, into what they're doing right now, everybody has played their part beautifully, but Jey Uso, man, has he become the shining star. And it's no surprise at all for BC to say that that's my favorite tag team of all time, the Usos, Jimmy and Jey. And that's saying something because I used to love the Demolition and the Legion of Doom Road Warriors, the Rockers. I'll take it old school Killer B status or the fabulous Rougeau brothers. That's right, I'm taking it back. Harlem Heat. But the Usos, man, they always just intrigued. And now you get to see what they do individually. It's so cool. Now, people are anointing Jey Uso already becoming champion. I still say no. 3 years of Roman Reigns as champion. You didn't give it to Sami Zayn in Montreal. You didn't give it to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. There wasn't a Drew McIntyre or a Cesaro or a Big E. All of this was for tag teams Jey Uso. When the tribal lay, the family dynamic is outweighing the championship right now. So none of that would make sense. And then people jump to, well, I hear that, but what about Solo? Solo will be the one. Guys, Solo got plucked from NXT way too early, but it needed to happen, and he fit that role beautifully on the main roster. Fits perfectly. He's getting better and better. But to just anoint him a championship when you didn't give it in Montreal to Sami or Cody at WrestleMania, something just doesn't seem right about that. 3 years of Roman just to keep the title within the bloodline. I don't know. I'm not saying there's a wrong answer. I don't know. I don't know, says BC Amplified, man. I don't know, I says. I'm going to give it more thought, but I thought long and hard about it. I don't know. I would not keep it. I'll tell you right now, I would not keep it within the bloodline, man. And not think back to Montreal or Mania. And then it just sits on tag teams Jey Uso, who, again, my favorite tag team. I can't give Jey Uso more praise than I am right now. Solo Sikoa is getting better and better, but to throw a championship after 3 years, those are the ones to dethrone Roman? I don't know, brah. It ain't sitting well with BC, I can tell you that much. And then what? You go Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, just to get the moment that'll never be recreated from Mania this year. That was lightning in a bottle, so I don't even know if Cody... I don't know, man. They botched at Mania, and now we don't even know how to take the title off of Roman. Now everybody's got a different answer. Going into Mania, most of us knew that it had to be Cody because we knew it was time for Roman's title reign to end. We were cool with the long title reign, but it has to end now, right? It has to. Cody's the perfect person. Roman's going on vacation. Cody's going to defend it throughout the summer. He needs the title. Something happened in the weeks leading up where people started to say, oh, Cody needs more struggle and adversity. All of a sudden, the company calls an audible. Roman still goes on vacation, and Cody's got no title in a feud with Brock that has no purpose. I can't even tell you what happened after Mania. It's so mind-bogglingly stupid. But here we are. Everybody knew a few weeks before Mania it had to be Cody. It was time. And now nobody knows who it is. Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa's being thrown out there. Cody at 40 maybe. Sethington Rollins, maybe title versus title match already with a new title. Or Sethington drops the title, goes somehow for Roman's title. Who needs to see Sethington in 2024 at WrestleMania 40? Sethington Rollins is going to beat Roman after over 3 years of holding the title. It was all to give it to Sethington. But who do you have, man? People are saying Gunther. Gunther is a badass heel. Even if he loses the IC title, he should remain a heel. Gunther versus Roman, heel versus heel, WrestleMania 40. I don't see it, guys. I don't see how that's intriguing. We all respect and want to see the best for Gunther. Dude's a beast, but to put him in there with Roman at 40, WrestleMania 50, 60, it wouldn't matter. It doesn't make sense. People say, my boy, Bray Wyatt. You guys know how high I am on Bray. Bray coming back to beat Roman just doesn't make sense. And I know, BC, he took the title originally with this whole long title reign. He took it from Bray Wyatt, BC. I know, but just to have Bray in and out, I mean, listen, this is a Bray Wyatt channel. I love Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda. I do. He's so masterfully creative. I love his work. But you also have to now start looking at dependable. You know, he's been in and out a lot with a lot of different reasons. And we're hearing the term health reasons a lot. So first of all, when he comes back, let's just hope he sticks around and let's not throw championships on my boy Bray Wyatt. He doesn't need the added pressure. And by the way, somebody like Bray Wyatt doesn't even need championships. He's like The Undertaker. Now, younger fans might know that Undertaker held a bunch of belts toward the end of his career. A lot of the beginning of his career, guys, he didn't hold championships. There was like a few days, maybe a week, tops. I think it was only a couple of days. It was around Survivor Series, and then there was a Tuesday night in Texas. He got it from Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan got it back, I believe, a few days later. Something like that. And that was really it. You'd have to go back to like WrestleMania 13, I think he won the championship. And then he started winning them toward the end of his career. But The Undertaker, for years, it was never about a championship. WrestleMania 7, he was defeating Jake the Snake Roberts in an exhibition match. Undertaker was already super over as a feared heel. WrestleMania 8, who was he taking out? WrestleMania 8 was Jake the Snake Roberts, not 7. He wasn't at 7 yet. 7 was Snuka, wasn't it? I think Undertaker took on Jimmy Snuka at 7. And Jake Roberts at 8. 9 was Giant Gonzalez. That's what it was. So my point is, the first few years for The Undertaker was, and I think 10 was what, King Kong Bundy? Something like that. He took on another giant at WrestleMania 10. And you just didn't have to throw a title on Undertaker. He didn't have to do it. Like, the guy was just, that character just didn't need it. Kind of sucks, right? I mean, the guy could have had 100 title reigns maybe, but the character didn't need it. Bray Wyatt doesn't need a title per se. But if you're going to throw a title on him, don't do him dirty. They threw a title on him and then they did him dirty. Saudi Arabia, Super Showdown, Goldberg annihilates him quickly and takes his title. That's one of those questionable decisions that you can't shake because you don't comprehend how you can do that to a character like Bray Wyatt. My point is, that's if you want to throw in Bray Wyatt. I mean, there's all these names, and we don't know. There's no clear path on who should take the title from Roman, and that's what muddies the waters. That's why it's not going to be as special, right? We'll give it a pop. We'll give it a whoa, that's a headline. Roman dropped the title. But it's not going to be lightning in a bottle. It's not going to be universal anymore. No pun intended to the title. Like at Mania 39, when we all knew it was the time. If you read the room, you knew we were waiting to take that roof off that stadium. And they botched it, and now it's muddied waters. Nobody even knows who should take the title off of Roman. None of it even makes sense. But here we are, 1 week away from this recording of this Amped Up podcast, SummerSlam. Do they actually give it to Jason Uso? When he has said in interviews, IRL, he does not want to be the guy. He never even envisioned it. Some good lines in this face-to-face with Roman Reigns last night. Roman says, and I quote, Your little brother, meaning Solo, respects me more than his own brother, meaning Jey. That was a dagger, bro. Roman then says, you can't beat me. What makes you think you can beat me? And he's getting amplified at this point. So Jey responds, because I already did. He then wraps his arm around Roman's neck like they did last week to show that what little respect is left, that it is indeed tribal warfare. He wraps his arm around Roman's neck and says, and I quote, at SummerSlam, I'ma do it again. Says, I'm gonna beat you again. So it was good stuff, man. Really good stuff. And he walks off. I was surprised Roman and Solo just let him walk off. In fact, he danced off. He was feeling himself at that point. But they let him walk off. But at the end of the night, he was not going to be able to walk off. We'll talk about it. Backstage after a commercial break, Uso comes across Greyson Waller. Greyson has just been getting under everybody's skin lately. The Rock, LA Knight, he's trying to get into a tag team with Conor McGregor. So he comes across Jey Uso. He's like, do you want the rub? I forgot if it was later that night or at SummerSlam, be a part of the Greyson Waller effect. I don't know what he was saying. And Jey Uso just laughs with him like he's the nerdy white dude. You know, Jey Uso, remember he used to do the nerdy white voice? Who was it, with the Miz and Morrison, was it? I forgot who it was. So he did the nerdy white laugh. And he drills Greyson Waller. He's, the giggle. You know the laugh I'm telling you. He did the giggle, and Grayson starts giggling even more. And Jey just pops a motherfucker, bro. He just pops a motherfucker, bro. It was great. It was great. Grayson got a pop from BC for sure. Now, that would set up a match, main event status, later in the night. Main event Jey versus Greyson Waller. Wait till you hear the statistic, BC needs more coffee, that I have on Greyson Waller. If you heard the cold open teaser, you already know what it is, but we're going to dissect it a little bit more. First matchup of the night, United States Championship Invitational Final. Say that 10 times fast. The things they come up with. Anyway, Rey Mysterio, Bianca versus Santos Escobar. This wasn't good. There's no other way to say it. It wasn't good. The match was going along fine. Decent, even good at times, by the way. Rey Mysterio, Escobar, two really good wrestlers. I guess you're not too shocked to hear that. But it was the finish. The finish. Now, there's two ways to go about this. It's early on this recording. We're still finding out word if this was a legit injury or a work. At first, I thought full work. They just zoned in on the doc too much. The way referee Jessica Carr was acting, but then I thought, no, that's just really bad. Like, nobody can come up with that bad of a finish, can they? I know it's WWE. I know you got VKM and HHH back there. So anything can go off the rails. But you gotta believe that they wouldn't have that type of a finish. So then I started to think maybe it's not a work. Maybe it's legit. And then you got people like Rossap, who comes out real quick and says, no, it's a work. And then he takes the report off the airwaves and he says, no, now I'm hearing it's legit. So now even reputable, or however you look at these reports, but I did hear from many people that they truly didn't know. So reputable or irreputable sources are conflicting their own reports. So as of the early recording of this Amped Up podcast, BC doesn't even know if this was work or legit. So I'm going to play devil's advocate. If it's a legit injury, that would make sense why it was so damn awkward to finish. And we wish Rey Mysterio the utmost best and speedy recovery. Not too speedy, because we want him fully healthy, but a speedy recovery nonetheless. It looked like it was off of a suicide dive, and he hits Rey. So Escobar is coming from inside the ring, suicide dive onto Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio falls backwards. Looks like he hit his head pretty hard. It does look like he hit his head. I was just thinking work from the beginning. Maybe they just wanted to save face on Rey, not have him get pinned or anything, but there was a billion other ways you could have done that. That was just not a good finish. So that's what led me to think maybe it was legit, or is legit. So we want to wish Rey a speedy recovery. I guess that would be concussion. Maybe the doc didn't want him to continue because he didn't pass the upfront concussion protocol that the doc was doing at ringside. That's the best I can tell you, man. I mean, reputable sources don't even know right now. So BC's doing a review. I'm playing devil's advocate. If this is a legit injury, it looks to be like a concussion or something with the head. His neck seems to be fine because he was moving fine, even shook the hand of Escobar after the match. So it doesn't look like that's a problem. The doc didn't even, because the doc would tell him not to move, guys. That's protocol. If there's anything with a neck or a spine or even a thought that it could be affected, the doc will tell you ain't moving, and he'll have the EMTs come out quickly. But that didn't happen. Doc kind of just chilled, let Jessica Carr call the match. Rey got to his feet. First he bowed to Escobar, then he got to his feet, shook his hand. And the doc was just like, yeah, no, all right, man, let's go have a freeze pop in the back. It was weird, right? That's why a lot of people believe it was a work. The whole thing was really weird. But again, devil's advocate, because we don't know right now as of the recording of this. By the time you guys get the podcast, you'll probably know a lot more, obviously. If this was legit, we wish Rey nothing but the best. And it sucks that this had to be the finish. If it was not a legit injury and this was a work, this is how they planned the finish, the finish was not well thought out. There's nothing else to say. I mean, the crowd was just not having it either way. Legit injury or not, or if it was a complete work, the crowd was not having it. When Escobar was called as the winner of this match, the crowd didn't even stand up, guys. Like, you can go back. This is not just like a BC's opinion on the review. No, go back and see for yourself. The crowd did not even stand up for Escobar. They made no noise. The few people, the 2 or 3 people that did stand up were actually booing Escobar. That actually happened. Cam side. You could check it out yourself. The 2 or 3 people that stood up were booing Escobar. So this is bigger than a legit injury or a work. This starts with the booking of this from last week when they set up Rey and Escobar. Rey, who we enjoy his work, he's a legend. We love the dude. Nobody needs to see him going for a U.S. title at SummerSlam with Austin Theory, let's be honest. And Escobar still has to get over before we can put him to that next level. You can't do it backwards. You can't say, well, BC, the way to get over is to throw him in title matches and label him King of the Ring and put a Money in the Bank briefcase on him. No, you take a guy who's already over because you've been booking him properly, then you take him to the next level. You take someone who's super over, like an LA Knight, you have him win Money in the Bank, you put a briefcase on him because you're taking him to the next level. You take the guy who's over and you put him in that spot. You can't strap an accessory to a wrestler and hope that is going to get him over. We labeled him a king, so that's going to make Baron Corbin go over. No, it didn't work. We put a Money in the Bank briefcase on Damian Priest. We like Damian Priest. We respect him. We want good booking. But the briefcase has done nothing for Damian. Still crickets when he's out there, sadly. You can't just throw a accessory on the dude. A U.S. title on Escobar is not going to make people cheer for Escobar. And we like Escobar. We like his work. But he's just not over. There's not that connection. Good booking, proper booking, then put him in those spots where we know it's justified and it's going to be fun for everybody, all fans, and best for business. It starts with the booking last week. How they could think, let's have LA Knight lose and set up Rey Mysterio versus Escobar. Even if Escobar won via the fruit roll-up, you have to believe if this was a legit injury and it was supposed to be decided by pinfall, you gotta believe it was to be done, conducted via the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating fruit roll-up. Because this company loves the fruit roll-up. It's their way to say, hey, they saved face. They squeaked out that victory. Rey was caught off guard by the fruitiest of roll-ups. You gotta believe that they were going to just end that in a roll-up if it was going to be decided by pin. I do believe Escobar was always going to be the one to go, and it's not even at SummerSlam, by the way. The U.S. title is so irrelevant. Austin Theory, to this day, after all these months, still does not connect with the fans. They're leaving the title off of SummerSlam, I believe. I believe that is going to be on SmackDown this upcoming week. The day before SummerSlam. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know. And they put Escobar in there with Rey Mysterio. Injury or a work. That was going to be the response when Escobar is declared the winner. Nobody cared. Now he's going to take on Theory. We know Theory's got to lose the title because after all these months, he's not over any more than he was going in with the title, winning the title. Fans still don't care about the dude. They're still piping in the boos, and the title is even more irrelevant than when he got it, somehow. So we know it's got to come off of him, and now what? It goes on Escobar. So now it's just an accessory still to a dude that nobody cares about. Again, that's with respect, just like Damian. We want the best, so book them properly. You can't throw accessories on them. Then it comes off as forced. Good storytelling. You started great. To give you guys an example, right? When we were actually praising Escobar and everybody is when they put LWO together. Most of the wrestling community said, hey, that's a good idea, actually. This could work. And what happened immediately, guys? They gave up on it. LWO is an afterthought. It's 3 letters on a t-shirt now. That's all it is. But originally, we were like, yes, this could work. We were behind Escobar, Rey, Zelina. Let's do it. Wild and the other guy, Jackass, whatever their names were, wherever they went. They got cut out of LWO or some shit, but we were behind it. We just wanted to give us the proper booking. Tell us the good story with the LWO. And in the future, man, when the iron is hot, you strike, and there it is. Escobar's hoisting up a title. But to throw him a day before SummerSlam, beating Theory, this whole title reign for Theory was to give it to Escobar, when Escobar's been 50-50 booked from the jump anyway. You haven't even given the fans a reason to care. LWO was the slightest, an inkling to at least look in LWO's direction. And they screwed that up pretty quickly. So the point is, the whole wrestling community, until we get actual word, is gonna just kind of argue. It was a legit injury. It's a work. It doesn't matter at the well, it does because we want the best for Rey. Again, speedy recovery for Rey, all the best. But in the realm of the wrestling in SummerSlam or the championship, it doesn't matter. The booking already derailed this off the track. The booking of Rey versus Escobar, look at that reaction last night. It tells you all you need to know. You know, this was... It's the same thing we all asked last week. This was better than L.A. Knight just going to SummerSlam or even the Friday before SummerSlam to take on Theory. This was that reaction for Escobar over the reaction that LA Knight is getting, and you want to talk about a Slim Jim Battle Royal. How fun that could have been if Austin Theory is being defeated, looking up at the lights as LA Knight hoists that championship. Tens of thousands of fans in that stadium. busting out, wilding out, as LA Knight rocks Detroit in millions and millions around the globe. No, they took that moment away because this is how they think they're gonna make Escobar. And they won't even put it on SummerSlam. We'll do it on Friday because, it's Theory and Escobar is what Paul Levesque McMahon, VKM, that's what they're saying, right? Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's just Escobar and Austin Theory. Nobody wants to see that at SummerSlam. They do want to see LA Knight. So what do they say? Oh, what about a Slim Jim Battle Royal? The question is, why does this company have to complicate everything? Why does LA Knight have to wait till after SummerSlam to get a push? Just put him in SummerSlam and let's have fun. Let's just do proper booking. It's Wrestling 101. This company complicates everything. The guy is sitting in their lap. T-shirt sales have already went into the top 3, bro. Top 3. He's sitting there with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns with the shirt. Money to be made, and this company's like, let's wait till after SummerSlam. But Paul, you said to wait after WrestleMania. Yeah. Oh yeah, we did leave him off WrestleMania. Well, and then you said, Paul, let's leave him off of Backlash. And then Night of Champions. And Madison Square Garden. Wow, we did leave him off all that, but we put him in Money in the Bank. But he lost. Man, we really gotta think, but you know what? It hurts right now. I think we're going to wait till after SummerSlam. Okay, Paul. I don't get it. I don't know why they have to complicate everything. And there's people that'll justify it. But you see, he's getting his push after SummerSlam. We've been hearing this. He was one of the most over dudes with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania weekend, guys. Months ago. He started getting super over coming out of Royal Rumble with Bray Wyatt. That was back in January into February. It's about to be August. It takes you 7 months to try to get creative and give proper booking to a super over individual. If it takes you 7 months, you shouldn't be in the role. The dude's been super over for 7 months. It takes 7 months to give somebody super over, decent creative, and good booking. BS. There's no way that you're going to tell me 7 months ago, because that's what I hear, right? BC, they can't just switch up plans so easily. It takes time. You're trying to tell me that 7 months ago, when this dude was already super over, you're telling me that 7 months ago, this company penciled in Santos Escobar to go to SummerSlam weekend and go for the U.S. gold? 7 months ago, that was their plan? And even if that was the case, which is obviously BS, you call a fucking audible in pro wrestling. You always do it. It's why we got one of the most iconic moments in WrestleMania and pro wrestling history at WrestleMania 30 when Daniel Bryan hoisted up that title in New Orleans. Michael Cole made reference to it last night with the yeah movement. He said it's not the first time we'd have a yeah movement in New Orleans. Referencing the yes movement, of course. But they audibled that. That was Batista's. Batista wins the Rumble. Batista goes on to the main event of WrestleMania. That got hijacked, completely taken over by Daniel Bryan. They had to call the audible. The guy was lightning white hot. It's what you do. The path was never for Stone Cold to become the guy. You had no choice but to put the rocket on him because we already were doing it. The excuses that people will come up with, man. It takes time, BC. You've had 7 months. You left him off of every pay-per-view besides Money in the Bank, and that's only because there was 6 other wrestlers in there. So you kind of didn't have a way out. Like, oh, what's our excuse to leave LA Knight out? We're putting guys like Butch in there. and Ricochet. We're bringing in Logan Paul. We kind of have to put LA Knight in. And he lost, of course. And then he loses a fatal 4-way just to try to get a chance at the U.S. title. He can't even win the fatal 4-way. No, this was not all for Santos. Look at his booking trajectory. They didn't have a clue what they were doing with Santos from day one. And now we go to a Slim Jim Battle Royal. You heard me reference it a lot. BC, what are you talking about, bro? Well, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. Slim Jim Battle Royal. This is what this company does. They partnered with Slim Jim. It's going to be like the, the Pizza Hut or the Domino's Battle Royal. Was that at WrestleMania a couple years ago? And they had like Montez and Braun Strowman. They were all just eating pizza during the match and after the match. And it was a clown show. It was literally a circus, guys. It was a circus. They go out of their way to give you every reason imaginable not to care about what you are watching with these Battle Royals. It's all about the money they got from the partnership. Whether it's zombies trying to eat Miz's leg, or Montez, Braun, and half the roster eating pizza during the match, during the Pizza Hut Battle Royal, or now the Slim Jim Battle Royal. The Mountain Dew thing only worked because of Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. Yeah. I told you not to worry about that. They were going to pull it off. So anyway, what am I talking about? Well, there's a Slim Jim Battle Royal at SummerSlam. I can't even tell you it's going to be on the card. It could be on SmackDown because they can always move it too if it's not already. They've done this in the past. They can move it to SmackDown. They could put it on a pre-show, which it could be. It sounds like something that would be. But they're going to throw 20, 30, 40 people in the ring all at once. Everybody that is just pretty much expendable, looked over. The last of the pickings, right? Everybody, the chubby kid at fucking in gym class, right? The last picked. It's the pity party, right? Everybody now has to circle back to the fat kid at gym class. And now they have to put him on a team. And they're going to go like, see, you made the team. You did it, buddy. It's more insulting than anything. If I was these wrestlers, I would not even want to be a part of it. And there's been wrestlers in the past that have said that. I think Zack Ryder made reference to it just recently. But there's been wrestlers to tell you when they hear they're at the WrestleMania Battle Royal or something like that, and no offense to Andre the Giant, love him, he's a legend, they say, but it's like a slap in the face. You almost don't want to go through the curtain. I do not blame them. I would not want to go through the curtain. It's telling everybody you're the fat kid at gym class. Nobody wants to be last picked. Nobody wants to be the afterthought, the one that couldn't cut it and couldn't make the show. And they put the most super over guy in the industry right now. Listen to that reaction last night. In an otherwise pretty low-key crowd the whole night. And I can't blame them. Nothing special last night. But a pretty low-key crowd. Man, were they off the rockers last night. Rocking it out. Amped up style for LA Knight. And they put this dude in a Slim Jim Battle Royal. Beggars can't be choosers, you say. At least he's on the show. Listen, there is a part of me that is actually saying that. At least we get to see LA Knight at some point during the weekend. Maybe it's on SmackDown. Maybe it's on the pre-show. I don't know. But we get to see. If it's on the pre-show, see, this is what they do. They just, like they did with Fox. They didn't put LA Knight's Fatal 4-Way on Fox. They waited a week till it was on FS1 cable when they knew half the audience was going to be cut in half. So they didn't even get to see LA Knight perform. And now you're putting him in a Slim Jim match. This is probably going to be very quick, early on, so not even every seat is occupied yet. So you're not even going to get a raucous, packed stadium like they would have had. Unless they put this at like the dead spot, which is the spot before the main event, which is usually where they put the ladies, unfortunately. I can't fathom it, man. Slim Jim Battle Royal. I love how LA Knight backstage Adam Pearce. He said he pretty much said you already botched. You already did the slap in the face. You already botched this last week. Let's not do it again. And obviously he's referencing the winner being Santos and not him. You already botched this. Let's not do it again by leaving me off of this card. And Adam Pearce puts him in with Sheamus. Sheamus walks by and they have a little battle of words. And then Adam Pearce says, next week you guys have a match before you're both in the... So I guess it wouldn't be on SmackDown because LA Knight is now having a match with Sheamus. I don't know. This company will always change it. But Sheamus was being booked as a face as of late. Right? Sheamus has been a face. LA Knight last night was booked as a face. We're about to go over that. So now are they just turning Sheamus back to heel with his Brawling Brutes faction? I mean, it's all over the place. Charlie did it again last night. Charlie was acting more of a face, but she's been acting more of the heel than Bianca has been acting. You don't even know. Every week it's different with these people. The ones that don't connect, they don't know what they're doing. The company doesn't even care. So the wrestlers are going out there and they're just trying to react to every little chant that's being thrown to them. They forget if they're heel or face themselves, I bet. And I can't even blame them at this point. Slim Jim Battle Royal is what LA Knight is going to be involved in. Well, let's see. Guys, you want to say at least we'll get the pop after he wins that match, BC. Are you so sure? We thought he had money in the bank. Thought he was at least consolation prize going to win the Fatal 4-Way and take the mid-card U.S. title off of Austin Theory. Okay, beggars can't be choosers. He can't get any of that. Are they even going to give him the Slim Jim Battle Royal? Knowing this company, how Petty Paul works? Probably not. Next up, this was the best part of the night, man. At first, I thought they were just redoing, and they kind of did. They just added a little bit more substance. They just redid the Madison Square Garden segment. Hit Row was in the middle of the ring. And guys, I already knew. I was like, LA Knight's coming out. There's going to be a quick little... They're going to redo the Madison Square Garden segment. And they almost did. Hit Row was cutting their same promo from Madison Square Garden. And then LA Knight's music hits. And LA Knight says, guys, this is basically a quote. Slight paraphrase, maybe. He says, I knew Will Smith was in the game. But I didn't know Uncle Phil was in the game, too. The fuck is he? You can't do somebody done dirty like he done did Dollar dirty. You can't do that. He called Dollar Uncle Phil. Now you can't do that because he's a splitting image of Uncle Phil. And 10 years from now, he gonna be Uncle Phil, dog. He gonna be Uncle Phil. He called this dude Uncle Phil. Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped upside down. Come on, man. Wow, that was, bro, I just popped for the rest of the night on that. Literally, that was the show for BC. And I should not be, I'm not taken back, surprised, or shocked. Or at least I shouldn't be, that it was LA Knight that provided that line. Who else could it be right now? The guy is firing on all cylinders. He is literally lightning in a bottle times 10. Infinity and beyond. Stratosphere and through it. No ceiling. Catapults, rockets, you name it. It can't contain this dude anyway. I got one little fight. My mind got scared since you're moving with your auntie and uncle in Belair. Top Dollar was called Uncle Phil. True story. Crowd pop. BC has not stopped popping off. Oh, bro. LA Knight defeats Ashanti via the Megastar's elbow and blunt force trauma combo package. Man, the crowd was just raucous. The crowd was amped up. And it was so cool because they weren't that amped up beforehand. And after this match with LA Knight, they were not as amped up going forward. This was the most amped up moment of the night. And again, we should not be surprised. It was LA Knight delivering the moment. Crowd was just insanely alive and rocking out, man. And that's what we mean. Imagine tens of thousands of people at SummerSlam for LA Knight when he hoists up the U.S. title. But they don't want to do that. It's their company, bro. You do what you got to do. Make it less fun for everybody. Do what's not best for business. Take the lesser road, the less fun, the less intriguing, the less captivating road. You want to take that one? Just know it's going to be bumpy. They haven't paved that road in many, many moons. A lot of potholes, a lot of roadblocks, a lot of red lights. But they want to take that road. Go for it. Uncle Phil. I'm putting that sumbitch in the thumbnail. Some way or another, that's gonna be the thumb. If you don't know, if you're younger and you didn't know Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you don't really know Uncle Phil, so that line didn't really hit like it hit for BC and many others. You're gonna see in that thumbnail who Uncle Phil is. And there's a good actor, Will Smith, who was headlining that. It was a show called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Came on every Monday at around 8 o'clock, right before Monday Night Raw. That's why it was big with the wrestling world. A lot of us watched that, and then there was some silly show, Blossom, afterwards, with her best friend, Six, that talked a mile a minute. You talk somebody being on caffeine? Yeah, that was Six. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Blossom, and then you knew when that hour block was done on NBC, you knew it was time for Monday Night Raw, man. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of the best all-time shows. Carlton Banks, it's not unusual to be loved by everyone. You know if you watch Fresh Prince, you know the Carlton Banks dance, bro. Come on, man. He called him Uncle Phil. You cannot do Dollar that done dirty. When it was all said and done, he had everybody saying L.A. Knight. Yeah. Hour number 2 starts with something that makes zero sense. It's kind of WWE's motto, though, right? Charlie Flair in a tag team with Bianca Belair versus tag champions Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. That's right. Just saying that, you hear a lot of wrong in that, right? Charlie Flair is in a tag team with Bianca Belair. They've been in this long feud. They're going to be in this triple threat with Asuka at SummerSlam. And all of a sudden, they're a tag team. And they're taking on tag champions Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. We are way beyond the can they coexist realm at this point. Well beyond that. With everything that's happened between Belair and Charlie, now is when we want to play the can they coexist game? Charlie Flair pins champion Chelsea Green. That's right, Charlie Flair pins the champion Chelsea Green. And do you remember not long ago, within the last 24 hours even, people defending it, the decision when they won the titles, and we were told Chelsea and Sonya are going to be the centerpiece of an actual division. Remember? That's what we were told by all the defenders of that decision last week. Oh, don't worry, everybody. This tells me that they're building an actual division now, guys. Don't worry. This is going to work with Sonya and Chelsea. Guys, they couldn't build a real division with Sasha, or at least didn't care to, with Sasha Banks and Bayley. Sasha Banks and Trinity Fatu, Naomi. Mercedes and Trinity, and they didn't even give it the time of day. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler together. You talk about two badass females, whether you like them or not, love them or not, doesn't matter. And they couldn't even build a division around them. Broke them up, now they're facing each other. And you think Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green is going to be a centerpiece of a division that is non-existent? There was your answer. How did that work out for you guys, man? Because Charlie Flair just pinned the champion last night. That tells you what they think about that. It's a farce. It's always been a farce, those titles. Most of these titles, anyway, in that company. And we were told that they were going to be the centerpiece. Oh, yeah. Totally. After last night, Charlie Flair simplistically defeating Chelsea and Sonya, I totally see that they're the centerpiece of a now flourishing division. Well, it takes time, basically. First, they have to go through the growing pains. They have to get beat by Charlie Flair, of course, BC. Charlie Flair has to beat everybody. What's this? There's new champions in WWE? We gotta bring them over there to SmackDown and have them get beat by Charlie Flair. Now, pronto, ASAP. Charlie Flair just has to run through everybody. Still no connection with Charlie for the majority of the audience. Still nobody cares about her. Don't believe me? Good, that's fine. Go check it out last night when Charlie came into the ring. Before Bianca came out, Charlie's in the ring. The crowd did not even care. You would have thought Escobar just won a match. Crowd did not care. You would have thought Damian Priest got a Money in the Bank briefcase. It was crickets. Nobody cared about Charlie. Can they coexist? If you're wondering about Asuka, the actual champion, yeah, we all know she's a third wheel in all this. Somehow the champion is a third wheel, but that's what Asuka always is. I bring this up all the time. The Raw title reign that Asuka had, the bulk of that title reign after she was holding the hand of Lana, they kicked Lana to the curb. They had Charlotte come back, and they had Asuka as the Raw champion. They had Asuka hold the hand of Charlie Flair during her title reign, guys. So envision this. Charlie Flair was getting a bigger push than the actual champion Asuka. Here we are years later, and Charlie is still overshadowing Asuka. And you say, well, it's not her decision. It's booking, BC. It's the BKMs. It's the Hunter Hearst Helmsleys. They love Charlie. Yeah, that's true. I absolutely put the blame on them. There's no question. But at some point, as Charlie, just like Becky did when Becky said, no, I don't think I should be in the title picture right now. And Becky has been doing this stuff with Lita and Trish. Becky actually stood up and said, I think it's best for my booking if we just don't put me in a title picture right now. You got to respect Becky for that. Charlie's got to know, this has got to stop, man. Asuka's never going to flourish if you're constantly just in on the sabotage. It can't happen. You already took the undefeated streak from her, made sure she didn't win the title at the first WrestleMania, and ever since, Asuka's been 0-5 at WrestleMania. Every time she has a title, she's overshadowed by Charlie Flair, and you don't see a fucking problem with that, bruh? Because it's a problem. It's a major issue. Needs to be addressed. No, Chelsea and Sonya should not be being beat by Charlie Flair last night in a tag team match. That has no significance because we have to play the can they coexist game. Moving on. Main event. Jey versus Greyson Waller. So it was a quick match. Jey Uso delivers a spear right in front of Roman Reigns, who was at ringside. And then he hits a splash from the top rope for the pinfall victory over Greyson Waller. Now, if you're wondering, maybe you're not, but I'm going to throw this stat at you anyway. Greyson Waller has only won one match this year. It was a fatal four-way many months ago in NXT. It was versus Dragon Lee, J.D. McDonut, and Duke Hudson. That was the only match he won. If you're looking at his main roster, this month alone, 4 straight L's. July 7th, taking the L against Edge. July 14th, 1 week later, taking the L against Escobar. 1 week later, 21st of July, taking the L to AJ Styles. And the 28th of July, taking the L to Jey Uso. 4 straight losses. Now, I guess the only argument would be this is the way they want to build him up, to just take massive losses, and people will see that he's not being pushed to the moon, and that'll come across as not being forced. I guess that's what they're going with. I mean, you're towing a line there. If you're going to try to manipulate the reaction, you got to do it properly. I mean, you got to be flawless. Right now, I mean, Greyson Waller could not be any more of an afterthought than he is. I mean, this dude's showing he's that guy now who's just going out for a segment to get beat up by the guy who's supposed to get the big pop, like John Cena whooping his ass at Money in the Bank in London. I mean, that's all he is. You look at so many people that are in that. I mean, Miz has been in that role for years, guys. Miz just goes out there, and whoever needs to come back to get the major pop. If The Rock wants to come back, but he doesn't want a match, but they don't want to start anything like a story, you just have Miz go out there, talk some shit, here comes The Rock. Right? Stone Cold's in the arena. They're going to put him on the show real quick. Hey, Miz, go out there, talk some shit. Well, fucking Greyson Waller is not that far off on the Miz. The Greyson Waller effect is not that far off of Miz TV, and so on. You got to be careful with that, dude. Jey Uso, after this match, post-match extracurricular activities, Jey Uso spears Roman Reigns, but Solo Sikoa puts an end to that shit quickly. So then Roman hits 2 massive spears on Uso. Solo's holding him up, man. Jockey in that position, and Roman just annihilates this dude to end the show. This dude, Roman Reigns, he was amplified. And we went off the air. By the way, I forgot to even say this in the segment before. I said if you were wondering about Asuka, then I went on a whole fucking tangent about how Asuka's been done dirty. Even with a championship, she doesn't have a title reign. She never does when she has a title. She was in a backstage segment last night, talking to a Bayley that's freaking out because Shotzi is coming back with a bald head or something. I don't even know what Bayley's freaked out about. It's a wrestler coming back for a wrestling match, or maybe she's going to beat you up. Oh, no. Asuka's trying to tell Io not to even think about cashing in because it's not going to be nice. You'll get blue mist in the eyes. Io's looking at Asuka and Bayley with those sultry eyes. Io is so damn sexy, bro. She's looking all over with her eyes like, what? That's Io. That's all they had for Asuka. So anyway, I forgot to even say that. So yes, the main event ends with Roman Reigns and Solo. I keep wanting to say the Bloodline. Who's left? You got the Wise Man watching over Solo and Roman, man. It's kind of sad. I would not have broken up the Bloodline yet. I definitely would have held off, but this is what they decided to go with. It's still it's probably the only intriguing story in pro wrestling right now. Nobody else is doing anything even close to this type of storytelling. And SmackDown for July 28th, Friday, goes off the air. Guys, I appreciate it. That's the review. Much love and respect to all of my Amplified unit, especially my channel members, my gold team. There will be a channel member live stream only chat coming soon. I have to fit it in. There's just so much travel and so much business to take care of. So when I can fit it in, definitely I would love to be live for SummerSlam. That would be epic as well. So we'll see. But as far as this Amped Up podcast, this is where we're going to know if you guys rock, stay amplified during the weekend. It is your weekend. Go rock it out, man. Have fun. And until next time, and there will be a next time, Top Guy, I'm out. BC saying check you.